They say you don't become a witch. That it's just one day you wake up and realize that's what you've always been. The one that doesn't always fit in. The one that likes the woods, the sun and sky, cats, owls, and the moon. The one who stays up late reading books, playing role-playing games, and learning the names of the stars. The one that likes to wear black eyeliner, capes. And then you realize, oh, that's what I am. I'm a witch.
Hey, Lola. Hey, Kayla. Hey, everybody. So good to see you tonight.
Hello.
Glad to have you back, Lola.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. I missed you.
I missed you too.
But I was getting free dinner, so I had my husband's grandma was in town, and she bought us all dinner, and it was really nice. So
family time's important.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And we got to see the sweet and wonderful spiritual mother-in-law of mine, Lady Lilith Three Feathers. So
I
that
love
was a lot of
her.
fun.
I love her. She's amazing.
So I got some tonight. We're going to talk about the Chalice, but I got a funny story to tell you.
Okay.
This really happened. This happened on Sunday. So on Sunday morning, a camera crew that is doing a story about something that involves the church. I did a short interview for them on Thursday. They called me. They said, "Can we come by and film the outside of the house, the church?" And I'm like, "Sure, yeah. You don't not in the buildings, but around the grounds." So about 30 minutes before they get there, I start walking around. I found out a bear's gotten into the trash. I clean up the trash. I move the wheelbarrow here and there, and I clean up. So they come and they film everything. They leave. They go and they film the front porch, and I'm like, "What is he filming?" It looked like he was filming the flowers, right?
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that's sweet." So we go inside, say bye. We go inside. They're really nice people. Later that evening, I'm going to the store, and as I'm driving away, somebody has put a skull on the front porch step, on the side of the step, like a rock. Like, on the sides, you've got things on the sides of the step. One of them's a plastic Halloween skull.
Oh, wow. Who
So
did
I
that?
confess, I'm a witch. Oh, I don't know. Any student, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like, "I don't know where to put this. I'm going to set it right here." That's just how it happens. I had no idea there was a skull on my porch, and they came and filmed it.
That's awesome. Oh, they should. You need more skulls. Skulls are awesome.
So I confess, I'm a witch. I don't know what you're going to do about it.
Well,
but
we're going to love you even more. That's what we're going to do about it.
Oh my God. Come on, Bella. You're perpetuating the stereotype,
Well, okay, but you know what's so funny is that when I first started coming out as a witch and going into groups, practicing in public groups, I was really surprised because, like, for me, you can kind of tell I'm witchy by my sometimes my clothes. I'm a little more gothy sometimes. I like to wear the pointy hats out in public and all that. But it was funny when I started first meeting other witches out in the public. You would never be able to tell that half of them are a witch. They just look like the guy working at the grocery store or your librarian, or you know what I mean. So it's kind of cool that we are out there, and some of us are a little more obvious. And some of us
more than others. I brought up skulls because the Western Quarter is the direction of death and initiation, and its tool is what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Chalice.
The Chalice. So, hey, Namir. Hey, Lady Aya. Hey, Cassidy. Good to see everybody. Thank you for coming. Hey, Kayla. So, we're talking about the Chalice tonight, and it is a tool of the Western Gate, and I brought a bunch of chalices. I brought, Dusty, will you go get me that wooden one on the table?
Well, let me tell you the story about this chalice real quick, because I only have one chalice, because we keep, okay, what does this mean energetically, Bella, that our chalices keep breaking?
Okay, so when a chalice breaks, it can mean a lot of different things. It could mean that you've broken a relationship or a boundary, a trust. It could mean that you've had a breakthrough,
Okay.
a healing. It could mean,
Ooh.
so somebody gave me a chalice for my 3rd degree initiation, and it was onyx, and it was beautiful. And I was cleaning it, and I was shaking the water out of it, and thank you. And it tipped against the sink and shattered. And the lady was like, I mean, we can just decide, like, there's a Jewish custom that you break the chalice after you use it in a wedding because it could serve no higher purpose than the one it had already served.
Yeah.
So, but
well, you know what my philosophy is, why we kept our chalices getting broken. I need to get people in my coven that don't have big butts and knock it over. Because that is how they've all broken, is because we have such a small house and it's sitting right there. And I'm telling you, I got a coven full of some voluptuous bums.
I mean, like mother, like daughter. I don't know what you want.
So, you know, that's all. But this is the first chalice we ever got, and it has not broken, which is amazing. And it's Poseidon, because this is when my husband first came to the craft, and he dedicated to Poseidon, because Poseidon at Spring Mysteries was the one that made him realize that, oh my gosh, I'm a witch and I need to follow this. And so we got this in that honor. And it's the only one that survived, which I think is kind of, I think that's symbolic.
It is symbolic. Yeah. Well, you know, one of the things about one of the 1st degree trials is you often lose all your tools, all your books, yes. All your tools that, you know, so yeah. This is a replica of my first chalice that got broken one day by one of my students. She found a replica and replaced it, and we took the energy of the old and put it in the new. This is my, it was my grandmother's chalice. You get these from Avon. They're just little red cobalt chalices. This is the goblet, and then there's a little wine glass that goes with it that I love to use as a travel. But I think this was, back in the day, a lot of us had these kind of chalices because they were available, right? They weren't expensive, and they're red. So they're, you know, all Persephone, you know, in the Western Quarter and stuff. So that's my first one. I really love it. Then I have a metal one. This one's glass, which I kind of feel like glass is the element of water, right? Like the glass.
I think that too, yeah, because it's the reflection and you know, glass can represent still water, and yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and metal, I kind of associate metal with air, right? And but metal chalices, really cool. Then I have a ceramic chalice, which ceramic is kind of earth to me, but you can make a vessel out of everything, and that's what's cool about it, right? And then this one was given to the ATC by the Archpriestess of Australia. That's why I have so many of them. And
that's cool.
This is a stone chalice. This one's really awesome. This is a stone bowl, which... you know, you can use as a chalice. And this one was carved by one of our church members who is Slavic, Dusty. Yes, Slavic.
Yeah.
So you can have vessels out of a lot of different things. You can hold water in there sacred out of a lot of different things. You kind of hold them like this when they don't have a stem.
I want to add to, Amy said red symbolizing the receptive area. That's what I thought of when you said they were popular and they were red chalices, because it is the female aspect. It is the womb, the red in the womb. So yeah,
Well, I also, when I see this, even the style on it, I really see Our Lady Persephone, and her colors are red and white, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So I really love that. But yeah, the white goddess, the red goddess,
yeah,
the womb of the goddess,
yep,
and um I brought a special potion to share tonight. Tea
yes.
is always fun, shared amongst us witches. This is my drinking chalice. We all in the coven have one of these. I think
Oh,
it's really nice. We were talking about giving gifts
mm-hmm.
rather than athames. I think chalices are the things to give, right?
I think I would agree with that because that represents to me when I see the chalice, I think of I just think of the goddess and I think of that giving nature and all that she holds. But you were mentioning earlier death and initiation, right? The West. How did that come to be, Bella? Because you're fondling your womb. Sorry. Sorry. How what
Guilty.
the West is the gate to the death and initiation because we have our West area in our house and there are all sorts of what you would call more of like there's a lot of skulls and there's a lot of things that represent that darker side. Why is that, do you think? What where did that come from?
Well, I think that the shape is definitely pertinent, right? Like anything that holds water, it's a vessel, right? But the
Hmm.
shape of the chalice is pertinent to witchcraft specifically because of the stem and the flat part on the bottom. The stem and what the stand. You've
Yeah.
got the womb and the vaginal the vagina. God, you would think I don't know anatomy. I'm medically trained from the Navy, so that's there you go. And then this is the opening, which I think is really interesting because if you turn the chalice upside down, you
You spill your
basically
wine.
have
Just
the
kidding.
pentacle, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
Right. So you have the other end. So this
yeah,
is the process of the Western Gate
yeah.
going into Tartarus, the underworld, and then the process of going back to life on Earth. It shows you the path. And if you air is a tough time. The season of air, winter's difficult, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of fall into the chalice and then you are squeezed through the seasons very similarly to the way you're squeezed through into this world.
Birth canal. Yeah. Yeah. I think that also when I associate it with that death and initiation and all that is also because if you think about it, water and the emotions and there's some really deep depths that we have to dive into. I'm going to use some, um,
Water metaphor.
water metaphors we have to dive into. And, you could swim in the shallow part and be safe, but it's always kind of scary, but more revealing when you go deeper. And yeah, it gets darker. There's unknown things in the deep, right? So it's to me, there's that mystery and the initiation into our craft because we have to dive deep, don't we, to get those to figure out some of that stuff. You can't just stay in the shallow end.
No, that's what I say. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Why? Like I like to play, but why though? Because when you drill that down 7 times, you've really got an understanding of your motivation. Why do you want to do that? I want
Mm-hmm.
to sell across the world. Why? Why? And then why? And then what? You ask that question, and then when you start understanding your motivation, it's a lot easier to manifest what you really want.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get caught up in details that aren't really important.
Yeah.
And when you get down to the heart of things, it's like the truth shall set you free, right? Like when
Yeah.
you understand who you are and where you're coming from, making it happen for yourself is a lot easier.
Yes, it is. So would you say that the chalice is not only about the feminine aspect and the mysteries and all that we're talking about, but you see it as healing and very nurturing, what like the feminine force is?
Well, you put potions in a
Mm-hmm.
chalice,
Yeah.
right? So this is butterfly PT, a little
Oh.
bit of hibiscus and lavender, right?
Ooh.
It's a really nice blend. It's made especially for me. I particularly like blue and purple colored teas.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's healing, but it also, water is malleable. So when
Mm-hmm.
you've got it in the chalice, you are speaking into the ear of God, right? I meant to get a horn, also a horn, right? Like an Asatru horn also is very similar energy. You're
Yeah.
speaking into the ear of God. So when you chant over a chalice or you speak an incantation into the water takes on that energy and then you
Yes, it
consume
does.
it,
Yeah.
right?
Did you ever watch Frozen Part 2 when they talked about the what was it, the remnants of the water that formed? You could see their forms in the water or
Yeah, the
something.
memory. Water has memory.
Yeah, memory. Thank you, which apparently I don't have right now because I
Well,
don't like that
so
thing.
it makes sense if water has memory. So that's one of the wonderful things about understanding correspondences, right?
Yeah.
So one defines the other. And when you get to those places where you're um, confused, where you don't understand, if you look at your principles, they'll answer your questions for you. So
Yes.
water has memory because it's part of the underworld.
Yeah.
Right. That is the river of memory, and the river of forgetfulness is in the underworld. Right.
Yeah.
So that's how, when you start thinking about all those Disney things, a lot of them share magical principles just through the storytelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, and for me, it's my favorite. It's my favorite and hardest direction. It represents the West. It is my most favorite because I love getting all into the emotions and all that stuff. But it's the hardest because you have to get into all those emotions and stuff.
That's
So
the truth of it too.
I love it and hate it for the same reasons.
Yeah, it's true. Like, having to face it is really difficult. Looking back at having done it is very relieving. It's very much worth it. And sometimes you have to have, like, I'm going to take this weekend to heal over this, and I'm going to purge all this stuff. I'm going to get it all out. I'm going to do this ritual. I'm going to take these things. I'm going to fast. I'm going to eat a particular way, whatever, right? And
Yeah.
get it all out. But most of us avoid those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
water, what I like to do, I like to use magic, Lola. Instead of going in and looking at all the yuck and feeling all of the misery, because I already
Yeah.
felt it once. That's why it's stuck in my body, right?
Yeah.
I like to super implant happiness and joy and bliss and love and prosperity and all of that goodness on top of it, to just break it up and chase it out of my auric field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, like, I like to write all over myself and then get in the water with it and let it.
You're a mermaid, so
It's true. The hair gives it away.
I have seen the song of this siren work many, many times on people. I'm like, oh shit, she is a freaking mermaid.
Well,
I've sat in that hot tub with you. I've seen your mermaid ways.
Well, Belladonna. The thing about the Western Quarter, it's death and initiation. And in witchcraft, we understand that death happens. I mean, it happens every time you go to sleep. That's why kids don't want to go to sleep. That's why people have anxiety about going to sleep. It's the death of the day. And in the morning, you're reborn. Like, we don't die and are reborn again. There's a process to the underworld. And dying is the beginning of it, just like birthing is the beginning of being here. And it makes you ask the question of, when you're born, are people mourning you leaving on the other side? Or are they like, oh God, when am I going to see you? I hope to see you again soon. Kind of thing, like we do.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So
you know, I love this topic because, and I'm not going to get too much into it, but you know what's going on with my family and stuff, and so but this is, you know, I have faced this, especially this past few weeks, and I have faced the saying goodbye and the grieving and the all that, and when I think of someone passing on, I have to remind myself that. They're fine. It's those who they leave behind. We're the ones like, and they're fine. And if you, I know that's hard to remember sometimes, and I know people have lost many loved ones, but they're just fine, and we're just missing them, and that's all that is. But if you believe in how we believe, well, we'll see each other again. We'll meet
yeah,
again. Yeah,
well, that's the thing, is that we can go over there and see people and talk to them, and you know, talk to them in this dimension, and it's not like they're gone. You just have
yeah,
to listen differently,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
And ancestral worship is a real thing. People can talk to their passed over loved ones, and that's one of the beautiful things about witchcraft, I think, is that they're just in the other room,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's
right?
something I wanna bring up real quick that I saw when it says, you know, and remember I think we were talking about how you can use almost anything and make it magical in your mundane life. So I think it was when we were talking about the athame, and we were talking about you can use knives, you can use scissors, you can, you know, what I like, and you kind of said it too, is you can just take a glass or a cup like what you're doing and imbue it with magic and potion and whatever, and even if it's just water, you know, but imbue that glass, imbue that water you put in, and make it something special, and it just gets you through the day. And we have to remind ourselves that magic, we can do magic with anything, right? And so I always like to say, even when you're pouring your cup of coffee in your coffee mug, and let me tell you, people love their coffee mugs, right? Those are the new chalices. I think coffee mugs are the new chalices because, you know, they're beautiful. And I think when you pour your cuppy in that, your cup of coffee in that, just imbue that coffee, and that's your special cup. Sometimes people have that special cup they want to drink their coffee. That's my coffee drinking cup. That's my wine drinking glass. That's my water glass or my water bottle. There's a reason why we do that, and I think it's subconscious, and it's something that we're trying to imbue in just our little chalices and our magic that we do.
I think one of the interesting things about chalices is that what we do with them, we share our hearts. We get together and we drink,
Yep.
right? When we eat, we increase the bonds of family physically because we're eating the same foods. But when
Yeah.
we drink together, we're like, I love you, man. You know, you get drunk.
Oh yeah, and you
No,
do the
it's
toast
powerful.
and you cheers to each other, and that's how we you know, that's how we commune with each other. And in the circle, we are, you know, it's very similar to Catholic Mass. You know, you're drinking the blood of Christ. In our circle, we're drinking the love from the goddess. We're drinking the love from her womb, and we're sharing it with you. And we're saying, you know, may you always find love within this circle, or may you never thirst, or whatever you say. It's a beautiful moment, and you don't just have to have a coven or a circle to do that, and do that with a friend when you drink your coffee. Oh, may you never thirst, or may you always find love within this relationship, and just drink, you know, and chin chin or whatever.
Absolutely. And the thing about intention that you said. So
Yeah.
my chalice it's a certain kind of crystal that you can get in a department store. So we have a whole bunch of them that are alike. And we have identifying marks on them with beads and stuff like that. And so because it's crystal, that's a layer of power. I could just put water in the glass, but I put herbs in it. That's a layer of power. I could just drink it, but I choose to enchant it. That's a layer of power. I consecrated the chalice. That's a layer of power. It is connected to all these other consecrated chalices. That's a layer of power. And that's how you increase your spell. I could put rocks in it. I could smoke it with San Paulo wood. You know, there's all these things that you could do to add a layer of power. And that is also water magic.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's about
So
love and hearts.
do you think that
Excuse me.
I'm going to ask this because sometimes I have a hard time being compassionate because of things that I go through, and I need to find that compassion, and I feel that there could be some sort of compassion spell or drinking or something. Could you maybe think of something that I could do? I'm asking, ask Bella. Like I
feel like I've been stuck in the left eye. Okay, so absolutely, I have struggled with this myself.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I truly believe is that everything happens for a reason, and it's your choice to fight against something and be mad at it for happening, or learn your lesson from it. Why did this happen in my life? How can I take responsibility for my part, my choice to react, right?
Yeah.
Like the things that happened and that I did, and then the repercussions of those things and all of that stuff. What can I learn out of it? How has that made me a better person? And then I gain gratitude for it. When I have a problem with somebody, I look in the mirror and I say, okay, I have a problem with this. This is not the somebody, but whatever it is that they're doing. Yeah. And I look inside myself to figure out where I have that problem. Because if I have a problem, that's my problem. That's not their problem.
Exactly.
Right. So I find compassion for somebody, for other people, by realizing that my issues are my issues and that their path is sacred. All lessons are sacred, even the really difficult and uncomfortable ones, and probably especially really those. But it is only through the resistance that we really grow. And so by being grateful that you have the resistance in your life, instead of getting mad about it, and that's how I do it. It's like I'm grateful for the lesson. I'm sorry I needed to learn it. Please don't have to remind me. I will remember this one. I'm going to remember this one. I don't want to do this again, you know? Kind of thing.
And maybe like to work in a chalice in that, or even a cup or whatever, drinking that intent.
Yeah. Put it in your intent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what kind of a tea would you drink to transform those emotions? I don't know that I would. I might put them all in there and then pour it down the drain.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah, because maybe you don't want to take that in, and so you just want to be like, it's the symbolic and the magical part of, and then it goes where it needs to go.
So that'd be something you'd want to use ditch water for. Byron Ballard taught me about ditch water. You were there with me when she taught us about ditch water.
Yeah, that was on Candid Chats.
That was on Candid Chats. So she's like, ditch water. And I went, wait a minute, hang on a second. What is ditch water? And she literally means water that you get out of the ditch. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what in the heck would you use ditch water for? That's something you would use ditch water for.
There you go.
You get that ditch water in your chalice, and you would put all your ick in it, and then you'd pour it out, and then you'd go wash your chalice real good.
Yeah, yeah.
With soap and hot water.
I love that. So, I have so many, because I love this. So when we talk about what do we do when we, there's a beautiful thing we do, and we talked about it with the Athame a couple weeks ago. There's a beautiful part that we do.
Do I have an Athame on my? I tried to clean up after myself. I have leftover wands still.
I got Athames coming towards me right now. I call him my husband.
I know. Baby, let me borrow your Athame for a minute.
We're getting our husbands to bring Athames. So yeah, what do? We hold that chalice.
Is that a knife right there? This is just
Yeah, we hold that knife and or that athame, and we.
I'm not sticking this one in
Yeah,
there
no,
because
me
I don't
neither.
know where it's
But
been.
what you're seeing here, people, is sacred pornography. Wah, 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 wah. Okay, no, it is
The great right.
the great right. Yes, that's
It's great, right?
it's great, right? Oh God, I fell for that joke. Anyway, yeah.
Well,
So
I should tell everybody because I brought it up. So,
okay, yeah. Go ahead.
okay.
No, you tell the joke that I fell for. I thought it was real.
Okay, so the joke is because I don't like to tell, I don't like to bring up things without everybody being included.
I
So
understand.
the joke is that, do you know how the Great Right got its name? Gerald Gardner was just finished enjoying the company of one of his priestesses. And he rolled over and said, "That was great, right?" And she said, "What?" And he said, "Oh, we call it the Great Right."
Great right. So
Dusty came up with that joke.
so I thought when she told me this, I thought, well, I believed it. I thought, oh wow, Gerald Gardner was like, that was great, right? And I was ready to tell my coven and like, hey, you know where the great right came? And then she's like, it's a Dusty joke. It's a joke. And I'm like,
It's
oh
a
God.
joke. Oh God! Well, I couldn't let you walk away with not knowing that that's a joke. Yeah, because that would.
Oh my gosh.
Let's.
Ridiculous.
Does anybody? Did we have any questions about the chalice or the passage through the underworld? The Great Rite is such an important ritual because it's. You remember when we were well, you might not remember if this is your first time with us, but I talked about how with the altar pentacle and the wand, you kind of pull energy through and manifest with it. Well, the chalice and the blade is the coming together of the other two elements, and it really binds your spell. You know, it binds your spell. So we talked about with the wands how when you have a big staff, if you have a wizard staff kind of thing, with the ball on top of it and stuff, what you do is you hold on to when you have the cone of energy, right? You send it out to the universe. You hold on to one little thread of it. And you let it get out as far as it can, and then you pull it all back in with the blessings of the gods, and you hit it down on the ground, and you impregnate the ground with your intention, right? Yep. So the Great Rite is the same kind of energy. The high priest holds that and puts it into the chalice, and the two become one. It binds your intention.
That's a Spice Girl song, to become one. Okay, sorry. I am so Oh, Namer goes, any ideas about consecrating and blessing your chalice?
Oh, well, see, anytime you have a magical tool, it's a good idea to name it. You want a consecration ritual, literally, is you cleanse and bless in each element, right? So you would cleanse it with earth by how? Maybe taking a cloth and rubbing all over it, and then you would bless it. I don't like to bury things that are
yeah. You could sprinkle salt on it with
salt on it.
You could pass it through your incense for your fire and air if you want to. And then obviously sprinkle water or fill it with water would be a nice, wonderful.
Well, I was going to say, if you were doing the earth, then you would say, some kind of an earth-centered blessing around it. Yeah. I bless you to be strong and unbreakable, and that should I lose you, you find your way back to me, or something like that. I don't know. That would probably be a fire thing, but the strong and unbreakable.
Yeah.
And then a fire thing would be more, then you would like run it under over the flame, and you would say, should I lose you, you always find yourself within 3 feet of me when I need you, or something like that. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And then a water thing, when I drink out of you, my heart is,
I connect to you, so we are connected in our magical workings, and or whatever. Yeah.
you're connected to my feelings. You help bring clarity. The mind thing would really bring clarity. Of course, you'd want to drink out of it with the water.
Yeah.
And with the air, you would want to put it through incense. And like, I mean, I'd get a blue candle for water. I would find some incense that was related to my intent that I wanted to do with my chalice. And I'd probably get like a blue silk scarf in a box.
Yeah.
And like wrap the chalice in it and put it in that for the earth stuff so that it's safe.
Yeah.
I'm a very practical witch in that sense.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm trying to remember, because you at the seminary, you have an assignment that we do where we consecrate our tools. And so I was trying to recall that, but that was a long time ago for me. So I couldn't remember, but yeah, no, that works.
So I actually promote forgiveness with prosperity, because prosperity is a heart chakra thing, and it lives in your heart with where your money is, your prosperity and your resentment, hate, all of that lives in the same spot. And since the chalice is related to your heart, you could certainly use chalice things to bring about forgiveness, which is kind of what we were saying with the ditch water before, you know.
Yeah, I love that idea of the ditch water.
Yeah. I transmuting through enlightenment. People sometimes think of, when you get logical, that you're talking yourself out of your feelings. Well, I don't really see it as talking myself out of my feelings as much as I see it as understanding why I had the feeling, and then I don't need the feeling anymore. Once I understand it, I don't need it, because feelings are there to tell you something's wrong and needs to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at it and you go, okay, why am I feeling this way? Oh, that's why I'm feeling this way. Let me go fix this issue. You don't need to feel that way anymore.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, for me, when I first started really understanding the elements and the representation of each tool and whatnot, I was very like, I don't like air. It's too logical. I'm an emotional person, or my sign I'm an earth sign. So I'm like, air's all over the place and blah, 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 but I want emotions and blah, blah. And then I realized that when you work with the actual correspondences together, you get a much better understanding of how they all work together, even in your personality. Or so I like that you said the logic can be mixed with the emotion. You can do your head and your heart. We do it all the time.
And you think about this, okay? So water is, if you're standing looking at water, air is diesel, right? And fire is widdershins. So it's a bad idea to act on your emotions. It's a good idea to think about your emotions. Bad idea. Don't go.
Yes.
Don't act.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. And again, I think it's serendipitous that we're talking about this, because I was just in a very chaotic time at my parents' house, with my elderly dad being put on hospice and all the taking care of him. And I was ready with all that, going on. I was ready to make decisions today about certain things. And then I stopped myself and I said, I cannot act on this emotion of resentment and anger right now. I cannot act on that. I cannot make that happen. I need to sit back. I need to think about it. I need to let it simmer a little. And so, yeah, that's wonderful. I love that. We got Erica. Erica Hanner says emotions tell us if our needs are being met or if they aren't being met. There you go. When we understand ourselves, we grow closer to being able to understand our intuition. Yes. Chalice is the intuition as well.
Western Gate is intuition, knowing what's happening on the other side, being able to see in the darkness and read those unseen energies.
Yeah, absolutely. So do we want to look at this picture and see if people want to, or do we have any more questions or any more things we want to
I would love I would love for people to post takeaways. I love takeaways. I've been doing them because I have forgotten. So if you learned something, please post it in the chat. And you can tell us, if you were to pull this card in an oracle drawing, what would it say to you? So to me, is that the Two of Cups? No, it's just the Chalice.
It's just the chalice. It just but I love that the artist put some wine in there for me. That was a little because I commissioned this artist, and she said, "I hope you noticed I put wine in the background just for you." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I noticed."
Wine, which is in wine. Plug.
Yes.
So that would tell me that I needed to explore my feelings. That my feelings were calling to me, maybe a little bit out of balance. They needed some kind of examination. Maybe I'm not paying, because sometimes we ignore how we feel. And what I'm noticing right now is that one is standing up and one is laying down spilled. Yeah. And that would tell me that I was not balanced in my heart. Like I had a conflict between two feelings, and I would need to reconcile those.
For me, if I got this today, it means that I feel like that cup that's laying down and spilling is me right now, because I'm concentrating on other things and I'm kind of letting myself and my feelings go to the wayside. And so I need to make sure that my needs and emotional fulfillment is happening first, because that whole thing, I can't give from an empty cup. And so this is very meaningful for me today.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, when you're dealing with the Western Quarter, and you are, my dear, dealing with the Western Quarter, right? That's an initiatory experience in itself. We say, Guardians of the Western Gate, Lords of Death and Initiation. Death is an initiation, whether you're doing it, whether you're facilitating somebody's crossing over. That is, when you get that close to the veil, you learn from it.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times it takes you to the very edge of your own ability, and you find your limitations. You really do, because it's like with children, you don't have room for limitations with children. They need what they need.
Yep.
Same thing with the dying. They need what they need.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. Kayla says here, for me personally, it shows that my cups are overflowing. It can be both good or bad.
I love that.
Yeah. And Nim says, oh, go ahead.
My chalice reminds me that I am in Goddess's cupped hands always. That's beautiful.
Isn't it? Yes, absolutely. And, I think that it's beautiful that we can all see this as witches. Someone else might just look at this and go, oh, they had a drunken night and there's wine spilt, or whatever, a cup is just what you drink out of. But I love that us witches know there's more to it.
That's Amy just had a really good one. The chalice says to me that you cannot give from an empty cup, and if you're laying down on the job, you have to be upright to be able to give. That's really good.
Yeah.
And then Erica, you want to read that one?
Yeah, sure. To me, it's saying I need to pour out my old wine to make room for fresh wine. I
like that too.
Always the fresh wine.
The thing that I really love about the craft is that you hide the mysteries by revealing them often. If people don't see, they don't see. If people don't hear, they don't hear. And they don't know that they don't hear. And they don't know that they don't see. And that is the beauty of it. To everybody else, it's just a wine glass.
Yeah, but it's so much more. I mean, we're drinking life. We're drinking death. We're drinking reincarnation. We're drinking love. We're drinking truth, right? I mean, think of Dionysus and the wine, and there's truth in that. There's celebration. There's ecstasy in that. It's where we let down our inhibitions. There's so much that is involved in a chalice. Intention is everything, says Kayla. Yeah.
Yeah. And relationships, I like, there are wedding chalices where there's two places to drink from the same.
Yeah.
vessel because chalices are about building relationships. The West is about building relationships, your heart.
In vino veritas, in wine is truth. Absolutely, yes. And there is truth in that. Even if you're not drinking wine, when you are drinking and when you are sharing to which, when we are sharing and we're drinking, it could be coffee, it could be tea. We start gabbing. Why do you think the drag race, RuPaul, because I'm going to bring drag queens into our discussion, of course. Why do you think they say, what's the tea? Spill the tea, right? It's what's the gossip? What's going on in your life? Spill the tea. Let me know. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope to arrive at my death late in love and a little drunk.
Oh,
I love that.
Oh,
yes.
Beautiful.
Love that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love that.
Speaking of drag queens, there are some difficult times for our beautiful ladies in all of their bling, as well as other LGBTQ AI. We are Lola. We are starting a fund to relocate people that are in unsafe places.
I saw that.
To get legal representation to sue the states that are causing this upheaval. And so you can be looking for that to come out within the next couple of days. We're getting the fund and everything set up right now so that people can apply to bug out if they're unsafe.
And those of us here in Washington, because my 14-year-old son is gay, very, very out and proud at such a beautiful young age and a difficult age. So I give him props because it's difficult. But he gets scared when he sees this. And I'm like, Washington, we're going to be okay. We'll be okay here in Washington. I'm not worried about it.
Well, I mean, for the time being, for sure. But I have a trans son and a trans daughter, and I want them to be able to live the life they want to live.
Yeah.
My son's been a role model for people his whole life because he was never stifled,
Yeah, exactly.
And so Phoenix says the death of a loved one being another initiation is very true. It is not an initiation I would wish on anyone. It's true. It is really difficult to lose somebody and somebody that you're very attached to and really close. And at the same time, none of us are getting out of this alive. It's like everybody is going to end there, but man, it just is so difficult to go through it.
Yeah.
Transformation and change, right?
Transformation and change. And, I think with what's going to happen to my father probably very, very soon, I think that me having these talks and this community to remind me that we, if this was happening to me 30 years ago before I was fully, evolved, or not evolved, but before I was really identifying.
This is in your final form?
Yes. I feel like I'm handling this in a way that's very beautiful. And I'm not saying that losing someone is beautiful, but I'm finding a beauty in the death that's coming for my father. And so I wouldn't have that if I didn't have these talks with you guys and have these discussions. Yeah.
Well, and my heart goes out to you and Phoenix and everyone who lost somebody. We lost a lot of people over the past 4 years, and losing Pete Davis was the hardest thing that ever happened to me. I was really grateful that I wasn't present when my dad passed. He passed from COVID. Yeah. And it went really fast. But I'm closer to my father now than I ever was when he was alive. Like now that he's passed over, he comes and visits me when he needs to. He's got very pertinent things to say. He follows the Phoenix Silver Star creed of making his words way more than the time worth saying it.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
He's fast and to the point, and I really appreciate his guidance.
Yeah.
From the other side.
We lost someone, a friend of ours, almost a year ago, and he's visiting me in my dreams. And so they come and speak to us. And my dog that I lost a few months ago, she's coming into my dreams too.
Oh my goodness, we're gonna lose Honey Bear anytime now, and
I
I'm just stealing myself for it.
Yeah, well, be in the moment. Be in the
I
moment.
will. I will. Yeah.
Be in the moment.
So go ahead and read that one.
Oh yeah, the ATC will be working to keep pagans safe from, I can never say that word.
Ecclesiastic.
Thank you, law. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be sure you stay up to date on what is happening. Absolutely. Yes.
That's right. Subscribe and notify. Subscribe and notify. Fun fact, during the Crusades, wives and lovers left behind would keep their tears in beautiful grief jars until their husbands came home. Vessels of water from history are usually sacred. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they are.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Yes, I'm so glad that you guys got to spend time with us today. And Lola, we're glad that you were with us this week. We enjoyed Lady Lilith, but there's no replacing Lola.
What? Get out of here. Say it again.
There's no replacing Lola. I love you so. I love you so. I did enjoy Lilith, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'm glad you're back. There's room for all of us. It's fun to be able to have guests. It's great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think next week we will be talking about, I think the last thing we haven't talked about, what would that be? We did the wand, the
I don't think we did
athame.
all of them. We did the
No,
pinnacle.
we haven't done the pentacle yet, have we?
Oh, have we not? I thought we did. We talked about
Did
the
we?
suit. We haven't? Oh, well then.
Let me see. Chalice. Yeah, pentacle is next week.
Pentacles next week.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I need to write the last chapter in my book. I got lost. I lost it. It was on the pentacle. So we'll do all the cliff notes, and then I'll go back and write the chapter, because when you write something and then you hit, like, you lose it, it's so hard to recreate
It's
it.
hard to remember. I know, that's why now I do I take notes on everything. I have a little notepad in my purse, and I can write in a pen, and I'll pull it out on my phone, because I'll tell you what, man, getting older and you forget things. It happens, but
It's the last quarter.
yeah.
Another memory.
Yes.
Speaking of memory, we'll see you next week at 5:00 live on Aquarian Tabernacle Church and YouTube. Like, subscribe, give us some love, give us some hearts. Hearts make me happy. Also, if you like what we're doing, you can always donate at atcwicca.org. No, that's not right.
PayPal.me.
Isadora's got us. Special thanks to Isadora for working the StreamYard in the background.
Our producer,
Yes, our producer. And also, you guys, we are a 501c3. We need your help. We've got a lot of ministries, a lot of projects going on. If you want to consider a monthly pledge, you can go to atcwicca.org to membership. Being a member of the ATC has its privileges, so please check out the pledge program. You might find that that's perfect for you. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lola. I love you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.